And so it's just a win-win proposition in every way you look. This is the thing that is the greatest thing to have. It is the only thing to have. It's so massive, it dwarfs everything else practically into nothingness. So, God's built this desire within us for love, and the ability also to love. And a life then that's full of love is going to be a full life. And nothing else that we try to do in life will substitute for it. This is what's wrong in the world today, is that people sense an empty need within, and they're trying to fill that need in a variety of ways other than the only thing that can ever fill it, and that is real love. So tonight, I've rounded up, these are just a couple of studies that I came across. There's so many out there right now, showing that we've got a real problem in this area, particularly in our culture here in America. George Barna, a statistician and sociologist, says, sociologists who conduct transitional studies have suggested that Americans are among the loneliest people on earth. It's true. You know, people come here from other cultures and they're just amazed at the individualism in America and the way people will just like move from city to city. They don't seem to have any ties, even to their own family, let alone to any community. People don't even know who their neighbors are. They don't care. It's just an isolated situation. Of course, we go out to social things and bump shoulders a little bit, but often the level of relationship there is as thin as a piece of paper. It's actually completely superficial. And this is what people are reporting about themselves. Most of this information comes from people saying this about themselves. He says, unfortunately, America is a nation in which the yearning for strong friendships far exceeds their existence. The majority of Americans feel that they do not have enough close friends. Oh, that's to say the least. Here's a research piece called Social Isolation in America. It's a study that was done by professors at Duke and University of Arizona. Their findings were that Americans are more socially isolated than they were 20 years ago. Nearly a quarter of people surveyed said they had zero close friends with whom to discuss personal matters. Good Lord, a quarter? That's what, 80,000 people or something? People had a surprising drop in the number of close friends just since 1985. So that's really not that long ago. They showed a massive shift that is on the order of 100% shift. That people 20 years ago had 100% more close friends than people report having today. So this is a pretty steep trend in postmodern America that we are still in the middle of. It's still headed downward. And as a young person growing up today, which I am not, but you guys are, I would be pretty alarmed, looking ahead toward a future where you may be quite isolated. Christians, they found, though, on the other hand, reporting something very different. And this, by the way, Barna has two designations for Christians. A larger group that say they're Christians but can't answer any simple questions about Christ, the Bible, don't apparently believe the same things that the Bible teaches, and so they're basically nominal Christians, Christians in name only. Not actually, they don't really conform to what the Bible even says a Christian is. Then there's a much stricter definition that he calls evangelicals, which agree to, I think, 6 or 7 different propositions that are very simple. And the number of people in America that fit that category, if you looked at the list of things he asked, you would say, well, if you're a Christian, you definitely believe those things. And so, these are the real Christians. And this sample is much smaller. Only 7% of the population fit that description. It's among this group. He says these people were almost universally happy. 99% described themselves as happy. And were by far the segment that was the most satisfied with their present life, 91%. This upbeat frame of mind may be related to the fact that evangelicals are the least likely to say that they're lonely. Only 8% thought that they were in serious debt, only 9%, or that they felt stressed out, 16%. He says the percentage who admit high levels of stress is less than half the level measured among adults connected with non-Christian faiths, which was 33%, or those who say that they're atheistic or agnostic, 42%. And I'm sure a lot of these Christians are not really walking that close to God. I mean, to my eye, it doesn't seem like... Still, it seems like there is a pretty measurable difference in attitude in life, really in happiness. I mean, they're easily the group, 99% of them claim they're happy. You know, very few, hardly any say, less than 10% say they're lonely. And it makes you think, maybe what Jesus was saying is true. That I tell you this, that my joy may be in you and that your joy may be made full. That this is a way of life, that the reason that it's healthy, the reason that it leads to these kinds of senses of well-being and happiness is because we're finally now living in accordance with the architecture, with the way that we've been built. And that we're not trying to strike off in a direction that we think is right, but which directly contradicts who I am in the inside. That's what I think.